is time for another Chicks Cha-Ching episode with Zach Abraham, who is the CIO of Bulwark Capital Management, and he is our go-to when it comes to all things money and finance related. And we're about to have a conversation, Zach, because we are mad. Not at you.
She's gonna throw down. Like this morning, she was losing her mind. Like she's in such a rage about this, and I don't blame her because you're about to buy a house. So, like, and I get it. I totally. And listen, I'd be the same way. I am the same way because there's like this such a lack of personal responsibility, and like it's just nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares.
Well, and this is why I was very, very excited to talk to you today, because this is the news of the day that we're hearing about it. And you, as a friend and sponsor of our show, we know that you're the go-to. We're hearing now about this new Biden rule that takes effect May 1st. That is going to basically make it so that if you have good credit and if you followed the rules and played ball the right way and you've paid your bills on time, you are now going to have to take care of those people who haven't in the form of a mortgage interest rate hike just for people with great credit and who have done all the right things. Help us understand this if it actually makes any sense at all, because I'm in a rage.
Well, I mean, we all have to pay the expense of our white privilege. So that's right. That's, I mean, we knew the bill was coming due, right?
Right.
I didn't know this bill was coming due.
Maka's like, I wasn't aware. What?
Yeah. No, and the pace at which this stuff, we were talking offline about some of the stuff that was going on in our state. The pace of this stuff and the progression of it and the speed of it is shocking, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What you're going to do here, though, is that I think this bill that he's signing in, with all the deep intellectual retrospection and deep thought that I'm sure Biden put into it.
He probably sought consult from John Fetterman about it.
Right.
Oh yeah,
right.
yeah.
Totally.
There's the uniting of the great minds of our time, right?
Right. Another deep thinker. Another really deep thinker. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think ironically this will probably backfire on them. It's going to further pressure the real estate market in ways, right? Because let's face it, the majority of the home purchasers are coming from good credit, right? It's most of the people who buy a house have good credit. Mm-hmm. And this is just another socialistic transfer of capital, right? We're rewarding those that haven't made the best decisions. And the irony, guys, too, is that it is really the left's policies that have put these people in an unadvantageous place, right? Like, look at, well, what about the kids that come all stacked up with student loans? You're like, well, who did that? Right, that was Hillary Clinton's brainchild back in '93 when it made student loans the only type of loan that cannot be rinsed away through a bankruptcy proceeding. So you look at all the setup of all this stuff that they're saying that they're trying to combat. When the guy that starts the fire tells you he's the fireman, right, you should probably sit back and go, hey, something's going on here.
Right.
But yeah, just another form of socialism and wealth redistribution, and it's going to result in people that are not financially able to own a home. And we've seen that movie before, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
So how can they do this? How can they repeat, especially when the I just saw an article too that said like the price of homes has dropped dramatically, like another 3%.
Yeah.
And so that happening at the same time as this, it's like it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and I think they're just going for a grab, right? This is just a land grab. They're just trying to pass as much of this progressive nonsense as they possibly can. The other thing I think Biden is going to try to do is he's going to try to give away the farm going into the next election. Just because buy votes, right? I mean, and that's effectively what they're doing.
It's the appeasement thing. It's like, it's the low-hanging fruit. It's what, I'm going to give you free crap. Here's your free crap, and this is what they've done before. And we saw it in 2008, right? I mean, we saw this in the election. Here's all your free crap. And then people are like, oh, thank you for all my free crap. And then it ends up being a total disaster. And then who ends up paying? Well, we end up paying. Nothing is free. But then it ends up in a disaster, and you wonder, okay, like what, 3-4 years down the road, it may not even be that long or that far off, but what are the ramifications of that? Like, what happens? What?
Yeah, and then how is it even going to work, right? In terms
Right.
of the interest rate differentials and how they're going to package this. Then you got to start looking at the different like what is this going to do to collateralized mortgage securities, right? Or what we call, or CMBS, collateralized mortgage-backed securities. It's going to create other. I mean, but look, we've been watching this for a long time. I mean, these people are the definition of shoot first and aim later. You know. Look at the Inflation Reduction Act, right? Just give it out. It's like an Oprah Winfrey show. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. And, with no thought to, hey, maybe if we spend another $800 billion we don't have, maybe that gins up inflation even more, And so the way I keep thinking about this and the joke that we have on our show is third grade diplomacy, meaning if you want to know the practices or the ideas that these people are going to roll out, right? Take a problem to a third grade class and ask them what to do, right? And they're going to give you this same answer, right? Oil is bad; it's hurting the economy. We'll make oil illegal, right? A third grade class would come up with these answers.
Right.
People can't afford houses. Well, stick those guys with a higher rate and give the poor people a lower rate, or whatever. And so you just continue down this path, and the outcomes are very predictable. Right? They're not good, not for anybody. Nobody wins. The other thing, too, is watch lending pull back in these areas. Right? They're probably going to get the exact – because think about that. In order to facilitate this, it's going to have to be government-backed mortgages, which they'll probably do. Right? They already do during FHA and stuff.
Oh, my God, is right.
But what I'm saying is you're going to crimp lending, right? Because if you're a lender, if you're a free lender or a bank out there, you're going to give – so us three walk in there with 780 to 820 credit scores, and another guy walks in behind us with 650. No natural lender is going to give him a lower rate than he gives us. Why? Because he presents more risk.
Right.
Right. So what's going to happen? Available credit in that bracket is going to pull back, and they're going to end up with the exact same opposite effect of what they're trying to get.
God, and to me, the weirdest thing about it, I think, is that it shouldn't be a partisan issue. Like the people that are going to be impacted by this, I would assume, I would like to believe that Democrats also have people on their side that have really good credit that want to buy houses. I mean, how are they not mad at that? How is this like only like a conservative issue that conservatives are mad? Everybody should be mad at this, right?
Yeah, but
like,
you
what
think
am I
that,
missing?
but then again, you think that they would have been mad about the student loan thing too, because I knew people who I thought the same thing about people who are high income or whatever, or who I thought would feel the same way about student loans, and they didn't. They really didn't. So it is surprising. You think they feel the same way about socialism in general,
Right?
But they don't, because they're capitalists. But I'm like, you're a capitalist, but yet you believe in socialism. So what the hell? But they do fall in. It's bizarre how they think this is all okay. It is really weird.
And I don't really know if capitalism. I do. I shouldn't say I know, but I don't think capitalism is alive and well in this country. I think that at some point we've decided, and there have been abuses of capitalism, which there always have been, right? And I always use an analogy that capitalism is like a really good guard dog, right? And that guard dog is excellent at doing its job as long as you don't leave the gate open, right? But look at that. They're sitting there saying they want to help, people of lower incomes and help wages. Then quit sponsoring this unholy marriage between business and government, right?
Yeah.
Quit subsidizing consolidation. When you look at, it's really interesting when they talk about we got to address low wages. Okay, well, look at the consolidation that's happened inside of industries. And there's really great numbers on this, and there's a bunch of great books. I've actually interviewed a couple guys on our show that have written books on this topic, talking about how these buyouts of these companies, right, these consolidations, if you go back like 30 years, you had the average sector, the average industry on a nationwide basis had somewhere between like 12 to 16 players. If you go run those same metrics today, you're down to like 3 to 4, okay? And then everybody wonders why wages aren't increasing. When there is less competition for labor, you will have lower wages, right? It's just, It is what it is. It's not a crazy theoretical thing of mine. It's just less competition equals lower wages. And so they're never going to address the real issues. And the reason they're not going to address the real issues is those giant global conglomerates are who are paying for their reelection campaigns.
Yeah,
that
makes sense.
God, it's all such a mess.
It is. It is.
Do you have any good news? Like about anything?
Well, my son's pitching in his little league game tomorrow night, so
He is?
yeah.
Well, that's great.
And I'm coming down to Arizona to see you guys next week. I mean, I
That's
consider that
right.
good news.
True. That
So-
is
That's
very
true.
true.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
we
some
love
good
that.
news.
Yeah.
Great news.
Other than that, guys, I mean, that's kind of the crazy thing is it's pretty bleak out there. And the thing that is so troubling to me is that so many average people in the populace don't seem to really see it. Don't seem to be that concerned.
No.
And I don't think we're dealing with political issues right now. Like you guys have said, we're not debating tax rates, right? We're not debating social spending. We're debating whether parents have any parental rights anymore. We're debating whether good credit is a penalty or it's madness. It's madness.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
I mean,
think
I guess the good way to look at it is that we have you to bounce these these discussions off of, and we can actually get an informed opinion about things that are happening in the world of finance. I don't know how much comfort that is to the general public, but I know we're very glad that you're there and that you're helping take care of people and their finances at Bulwark Capital. Where can people learn more about you and what you can do for them?
Yeah, I think one of the easiest ways to do is the radio show. So Know Your Risk Radio podcast. We have a show that airs in Seattle, Portland, and Phoenix. And then we broadcast it out. We podcast it just like you guys do. So they can Know Your Risk Radio podcast. Go to the website, bulwarkcapitalmanagement.com. And our whole focus is on risk management, meaning, right now our portfolios are very defensively positioned because I think what's coming down the pipe is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of people are going to get hurt, and we're just trying to prevent that as much as we can.
I love that. Well, Zach Abraham, if you guys are just now tuning in, Chief Investment Officer at Bulwark Capital Management. And again, check him out at knowyourriskradio.com. Thanks
Thank you,
for being
Zach.
with us again, and we will see you soon.
we appreciate
All right,
it.
ladies. See you next week.
See you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.